a length in front. Private Eye, Giga kick down the outside, wins the Everest. The unbeaten 3-year-old's done it.
The unbeaten 3-year-old did it. Giga kick came flying down the answer. Yeah. Who picked Giga kick? Anyone in here?
Yes, absolutely.
Crickets.
No, mate.
Oh, no. Zammit had it, Hildo.
50-1.
Crickets.
We got a name for him?
Zammit, how are you, mate? You all right?
You wouldn't believe it. There was 12 runners in the Everest and Zammit backed 11 of them.
Well, as long as Giga kick was one of them.
Only reason, because Lost and Running was scratched. Otherwise, he would have had all 12.
Jeez, that jealousy's a curse, Hildo. It's a curse, mate. Someone had to find it, and it was me.
Well done.
$51. Backed him before he had a slot. A horse I've just been with all the way through his career so far. So was wedded to him. And despite, I think, the vast majority of people out there thinking not only he couldn't win, but he was severe unders, he got it done. What a win.
Yeah, huge effort. Clayton Douglas, ex-jumps jockey, trainer for 2 years, Hildo? How long's he been around
18
for?
months or something.
Yeah, and then just trains a Everest winner. And I kind of love when you see the post-race interviews and the, all the kind of media around it and the kind of after the race, even beginning of this week. It was a surprise to everyone except him, I believe. He knew that he had a gun horse. He knew he had one out of the box. And, it was absolutely huge. SP'd at $29. Hildo, you had a very, obviously a big week leading up to the Everest. Last time we all caught up and spoke, you were on your way to the barrier draw cruise.
I actually sat on the table with Clayton Douglas.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was on our table.
You didn't let you in on anything? Hey, Giga's got this.
Now, Second Aid, he was a really nice guy, and all reports, a few people that actually know him said that he's, he's a great bloke. He seems very down to earth. Seems like the last cowboy. It's an amazing job. You cannot knock winners, and I know they always say beware of the unbeaten horse, and that's exactly it. And Craig Williams, what an absolute peach, like a professional.
Yeah.
Absolute professional, and he's, he is the thorough professional, and there were a lot of reports that, he walked the track 2 or 3 times during the day, and he knew exactly where he wanted to be, and he got it, and he got the result done. Amazing race. Yeah. Amazing race. They didn't look to go that quick, but they must have gone fast. I haven't seen the data yet, but when you see them, besides Nature Strip, the top 4 or 5 horses all came from the second half of the field.
Yeah.
They must have rolled along, and in Nature Strip, you can just see James McDonald has been, so full of praise for the way he's been executing lately, the horse, because he can overdo things. And overseas, he executed perfectly, and he did again first up when he came back. And he just didn't get it right on the weekend. He just was a bit aggressive early, and he didn't get the exact, probably smooth run that he wanted to get. I sort of didn't anticipate him being where he was as quick as he was. I thought he'd be building a lot more, and unfortunately he was just found watching a little bit late, and full credit to the Giga Kick and the ones that ran over him.
Thoughts on the Everest, Matthew Zammit?
Yeah, look, they've gone quick without it being ridiculously fast, to the degree that, it wasn't a case of nothing on speed had a chance at all, but they've definitely gone quick. I think, what's happened there is obviously Eduardo has helped contribute to the downfall of Nature Strip there in not crossing Joyful Fortune, just holding his line, which I think you have to absolutely say was the right thing to do. But pre-race, I was absolutely quite vocal about saying, what do these jockeys do? This shouldn't be a giveaway. They shouldn't just let Nature Strip come across with a gift. They should make him work, despite everybody saying that was the best place for him to be. And that's what they did. And then I think, unfortunately, Eduardo has started to feel some sort of an issue from about the 600. They say he started to feel a bit awkward to Nash, and he's quite badly crabbed around that bend, and it's just taken Nature Strip further and further wide. I think that's taken its toll on him in the last furlong. He accelerated well though, didn't he? Top of the straight, he looked the winner. I don't think anyone was thinking anything but here he comes, he's going to win again. And they just got at him late, like they had done, I think, a couple of Everests ago. And yeah, I agree with Hildo. One of the biggest stories for me out of it is Williams. He's an asset to the industry. A fair few people have a good laugh about how thorough he is in his feedback and his reports. that, geez, what a brain he is in racing. And from all reports, he actually is the brain behind getting that horse to the race. I think he convinced a lot of people who were influential in handing that slot to Giga Kick.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, people that trusted his judgment. He was very, very upbeat about the horse's chances if they got him there. And I think a few people...
James Harron spoke to him before taking the horse, and he told James Harron that he's a definite top 4 chance.
Yeah, spot on. And I think Dean Lester was also being consulted. I heard he took on board some of his views. From all reports, Dean Lester was quite positive about the horse's ability around a bend, as being a better horse around a bend than up the straight. So you could bank on him improving around the bend at Randwick. And I think to Hildo's point, I've always said the same: beware the unbeaten horse. There was no ceiling yet for that horse. Everyone wanted to put a ceiling on his head, but he had not shown a ceiling as yet, and he's gone well ahead again in terms of a career peak and, run an absolute blinder. And, I guess no one could necessarily foresee that sort of a performance, but, I absolutely felt he was in with a great chance, and I'm stoked for all concerned. They seem like great people and people who deserve it. Obviously, an owner who's invested plenty in racing as well.
Yeah, I think being able to see something each year, we've all been able to have an opinion to say, oh, why'd they take that with that slot? Why'd they do this? To be able to see something that a lot of people wouldn't have said would have run in the top 4 or even should have been there, to come out and boot home the way it did. And, I think that we've just added another level to the Everest. Do you know what I mean? We're not just looking at the same 3 or 4 horses or that top 3 or 4 horses in the market to say he's going to take it out. To see something like that was absolutely fantastic. And I got sent this. There's a gentleman on, I think this is Twitter. Twitter. Bren O'Brien. I'm not sure if he's in the industry or whatever, but he tweeted, for those interested in the whereabouts of Giga Kick's sire, Scissor Kick, he stood at Haraz El Jadida in Morocco in 2022 at the price of 6,000 dirhams, or about 875 Aussie. Like, the story of this horse, I think more needs to be uncovered in what's going on here, because this is fantastic.
Yeah, it is a great story, and I agree with you, Woodhead. I think there could have been nothing better for that race than to have the result it did. For me, I have to say, I take my hat off to everyone involved. I was a little bit playing it down in the week, but I think it just, it exceeded all expectations. And a big part of that for me is that result. Nature Strip goes round and wins again, or an Eduardo wins again. I just don't think it really, there's all that much theatre associated with that. But with this result and a Melbourne horse and some different form that wasn't running around in those lead-up races, just adds that level of intrigue and gives you something to believe and hope for next year, that it's not going to be the same horses, over and over again. As for the horse himself and that stallion, that is the nature of the commercial breeding industry. It's a very fashion-driven industry. He has not done anywhere near well enough as a stallion Scissor Kick to be a commercial success, and cast us to a very exotic destination there. There's probably no way back for him for his career. Once they're done like that, stallions. But they can all get a good one, they say, and Giga Kick's his good one.
Absolutely.
I think, too, a lot of people probably got a little bit scared off by Nature Strip probably having such a hold on the race, and that's one thing. With the Giga Kick winning, it kind of hopefully gives people that little bit of confidence that, oh, hang on, well, maybe it could have been, maybe I could have been in this race. Maybe something could have happened. So it definitely gives another boost to the Everest. Not that it needed any, with the crowd that was there, the excitement that was there on the weekend. Like before the Everest, singing
Sweet Caroline.
Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline was unbelievable. Like, never seen anything like it on a racecourse.
How good having that party atmosphere on a racecourse. It's unreal. It brings that festival feel to a racetrack that isn't normally there.
And Volandi's, and it was definitely a completely different crowd that is there for the traditionals, the Doncasters and the Epsoms and the races like that are generally at Randwick. It was definitely a younger crowd. And I remember walking up to the enclosure just before the Everest, and we got there about 11 o'clock. There was so many people there already. And then seeing the crowd evolve over the day and walking up to the Everest, there were some people in plenty of trouble.
Really?
There was there were battlers everywhere. They were under immense pressure.
What do you mean?
Under the drink.
Under the drink.
That early?
Like by the top, before the Everest, there was a lot of people that were battling. There was a number of people that I reckon would have turned up the next day and wouldn't have known the result of the Everest.
Wow.
Seemed to be in a world of pain.
Just, we might clip this up and we'll chuck it on social. Hildo, give us kind of a couple of minutes of what your day was on Saturday? Kind of, you obviously had the two horses in the race. Your partner Rachel was riding one of them. What was the day like for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. We were there, obviously, before Stumps Race for us to get there pretty early, but we were in the first anyway with the runners of Bjorn's all day. And we were, just sort of back and forth between the stalls, between the corporate box, between the after-race functions and things like that. Plenty of owners around, and the crowd was just... I was exhausted by the end of the day.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, mate, you were sidestepping, jumping, diving, just trying to get through people.
Just
to get out the front, to get everywhere. I've never seen a crowd like it. The atmosphere was outstanding. The racing was unbelievable. To be involved in the race and be in the enclosure that was, not the enclosure, but in the owners area, watching the race was just jam packed. You couldn't move. And
really?
To have everyone around there, and like everyone was excited because it's a race where it's not only first that gets excited and cheers at home, it's every other placing pretty much, as well. Second and third were just as elated and excited as the winners. So,
Well, you ended up with a 6th and an 8th, right? I overpassed there for a bit when she was coming up on the inside, it was very, very exciting, I have to tell you.
Shades of Rose produced as well.
100% late as well.
Yeah, I thought she's there to run into it. She just found wanting a little late, but she really travelled up nicely. I mean, they both presented, I thought, at the right time and just outgunned a little late.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was, sort of doing his thing there on the inside, and I thought, he's really going to whack away here and kick on. I give him one sort of cheer at the top of the straight when she ducked back the inside. Yeah. And then I was like, maybe not. Look for the other one. And she really rolled in the race like she was coming with the Marzu and the Giga Kicks, and I thought, here we go. She's going to really keep going. She just probably petered out that last 100 and maybe the class of where she's at the moment, the end of a long prep probably kicked in. But no, they both ran fantastic. I think they showed that they should have been in the race, and they're two horses that we're hoping going to be in the race for years to come. He was beaten 2.2 and she was beaten 3.2 or something like that, which is an amazing effort, and they've both picked up over 950,000 between the two. So
and so it starts again, hey? I mean, one of the other key parts to the story is the first two home were the last two to get a slot. Again, I just think that adds another layer to it. The less that's predictable in racing, the better, Yeah. And going into winter, with most of the field pretty much settled or the winner feeling like it's been found already and it's everybody else scrambling for also rans is not good for the race, So to have there this sense of, well, maybe there is an angle to be patient as a slot holder and wait for the 3-year-old to produce itself, or the 3-year-olds, or an older sprinter like a Private Eye who's maybe on the way up and about to blossom into the best prep of his career and puts in a career best or one of his career bests first up like that to put his name in writing for a slot. It just gives another angle there for people to not necessarily charge into the same names over and over again, and it looks like it's the same race as it was last year. So all these things, I think, added up to a real spectacle and a great outcome.
Yeah, just to add drama to that, that slot holding position, I think we're going to see a lot more fanfare and goss and media around it because they'll be leaving it to the last minute to decide now, I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
That's good fun.
Yeah, it is.
You got Hunter with you?
Yeah, he's trying to show me something.
Hey,
Hunter, I'm doing a podcast, buddy. Do you want to say hi?
Come say hello.
Come say hi.
Well, as soon as we've got on, he goes, how long are you going to be, Dad?
Hi.
Hi, mate. How are you?
You can't hear them because they're
taller than you.
I can.
Oh, you can?
Although it's got the sound going through.
Can. I got it all going.
How good. You're getting taller every single week I see a photo.
Sure.
Yes. Good head of hair on him too.
Yes. Yeah, he gets it from...
Mother's hair.
Yeah. Okay. Go back and watch the races. Back to 6.
He's got Daddy's account.
Up to Numerian Knight's order, and then came Durston getting out. Gold Trip, 100 metres to go, just in front. Durston is coming at Gold Trip and got up. Durston has got up to win it for Mickey D from Gold Trip.
Unbelievable. Durston comes out, SP $19. We actually had on the Tongue Tied show, which is a show that we have with Nick and Brody on Thursdays, we actually had Betfair analyst and Highclere Racing manager Andrew Hawkins on the show.
Very good.
Talking about Durston and J-Mac basically saying that, he may have, I think he actually I mean, he said this to Hawke, and Hawke said on the show, but I think he's kind of said it elsewhere in the media as well, that he might have jumped the gun on his horse for spring in Melbourne.
Yes, he said in his interview after the Newcastle Cup on Sky Channel.
Yeah.
He said, I may have locked in too early.
Yeah, and
that was his thoughts.
It was absolutely... It had that race in the bag. It really did. It dominated in the end. It was fantastic. Got the right part of the track clear, and on it went. How did you fellas go? Did you back a winner, Zammit?
I did, mate. Yeah. So he was part two of many parts of a very fat day. So look, I was very warm smoking Romans and had more than enough on him in the race. But I did take McDonald's feedback very seriously there and hopped on it 50-1.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks back now.
Well done.
So it was another big result, and didn't know which way to look in the last furlong. But thank God he got there. He rolled across heels at the right time and just really attacked the line and finished over the top of Gold Trip there late to nail it. So. Yeah, it's J-Mac really pays to listen to his feedback and any insights he provides. I think it sounds like they've got Zach Purton lined up for the Melbourne Cup, another huge coup there.
Really?
To be able to track someone of his calibre. That's what I was reading. So I think expect to see Zach, arguably one of the greatest in the world, if not the greatest, to be flying down for the Melbourne Cup ride in Durston.
Very interesting. How did you take the Caulfield Cup, Hildo?
You can have those. No, well, I was very keen on Durston. I think I said on the show he was my one to follow out of the Metrop.
Yep.
He was super in the Newcastle Cup, and nothing went right in the Metrop for him. Extremely slow tempo. Kieran was posted 3 wide most of the entirety, and just couldn't quicken and pick them up. So he had nothing against him, and then he gets in a race where everything sort of falls into place, and he was able to get the job done. I did think Gold Trip was home when he dropped them, when he sort of exposed him at the 200. I thought he was going to go on with it, and then Durston was able to nail him. And interesting to see now Gold Trip going to the Cox Plate on Saturday and gets the blinkers on. I think it's a good move. Excited to see him go again. I know he's 24 back to 2,000, but excited to have the blinkers on. And look, Durston's deserves to be right up in the market come the Melbourne Cup. He's heading in the right direction, and his form since that first blemish when he bolted on poor Andrew Atkins at Rose Hill. Rose Hill or Ramick? Might have been Rose Hill. Bolted on him, went round the field and just fell in a hole. He hasn't put a foot wrong since then. So he's done a great job.
Yeah, I don't think they back horses up anywhere near enough from the Caulfield Cup to the Cox Plate. Northerly did it one year there. Obviously, none of these horses are anything like a Northerly, but it's another layer. That's what you want, some extra angles in a race like the Cox Plate, and that's a great angle. Interesting to see the blinkers go on. Look, I'm not a believer in the form out of that race for any other of the big ones going forward. I doubt the Melbourne Cup winner was there. I doubt the Cox Plate winner was there. I think they are other horses, is my view. But it is awesome to see them rolling the dice and giving Gold Trip a chance in a Cox Plate. And no doubt Durston and a couple of others. I thought Montefilia finished on well, considering it was a soft speed. She's still some level of query over 2 mile, but I do think she absolutely deserves her chance, and she ran well. Val Declare, not too bad. I think a bit too much made of him and how he's going at the moment, but he was notable in finishing on reasonably well at the back end of the race as well.
What about Dewis?
Yeah.
Pulled the trigger on Joshy Barr. He's just been cut off straight the next, and Huey Bowman's been booked for the Cup.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Look, she, for me, as I said, I think she's this prep unlikely to end in another win. She ran well enough. I thought, she certainly didn't disgrace herself there, but again, I can't see her winning the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, there was a lot to take in what was a very open race. I think money came for a few horses, but there wasn't anything really that shook the market prior to jump. I think Smokin', if anything, drifted a little bit, and all these horses kind of rolling in. I think the top 10 within 2.5 lengths or so. It was a fantastic edition of the Caulfield Cup. Is there any forgive or forgets? We obviously had a lot of racing. Is there someone that we kind of maybe a favourite from one of the big races or something that you could kind of say, forgive that run or forget about that horse? I know Duas, we spoke about that, and you said Zammit kind of forget this prep. Is there someone that we can pull out on Saturday? Matt, I'll start with you, that that is worth kind of just either penning or just forgetting that run?
I'll give a couple of forgives. You know, I think back to what I said about Nature Strip. You know, I would have no hesitation coming into that horse in a do they still call it? I think it's the Champion Sprint now.
The Sydney Sprint Series thing. Yeah.
And well, it depends where he goes. You're right. He could end up in that Sydney the Sprint Series for the Nature Strip Stakes. It'll be his own race.
Yeah.
If they choose to stay for the bonus, or do they go for more of the prestige of the Champion Sprint, the race he won last year? I'd have no trouble forgiving him again. Not suggesting he's going to be any price to have a bet, but I certainly wouldn't be penning him off that run. And the other forgive for me is Smoke and Romans. I think I heard Jamie Carr was forgiving him and felt she had no luck in the run. I felt he missed the run at a crucial stage, was blocked for that run, and after he was balked, he looked to come off the bit right away and never really travelled from then on. Either hung in or Jamie Carr took him back to the inside to look for more space. Wasn't the place to be. I don't think a lot went right for him there. I would give him another chance. I'm not suggesting he's a Melbourne Cup winner, but I don't think that's, you know, penning him at the top level or anything like that. He's already a Group 1 winner now. He'll get his chance again. I think he's a horse that'll be around for a while yet.
Hildo, anything from you?
I want to forgive in the Congo. I thought he was super on the weekend. He was 6 weeks between runs. He had that sort of horror run down at Moonee Valley when he was able to come back and have a trial in between and go from 1,000 to 1,200. And geez, J-Mac pushed the button on him too. He poured the pressure on before the corner and really asked the horse. And I thought he was extremely brave and was just nailed late. But happy to forgive him, and I want to be with him wherever he goes. I'm not sure what he does, whether he goes to a Nature Strip or whether he goes to a Golden Eagle. I'm not sure. I think it's both races. I wouldn't like him to go to the Golden Eagle because I don't want to see him go 1,200, 1,500. I think it's a big ask after going 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. So I think in a Nature Strip, with obviously Nature Strip and Eduardo more than likely not going, I think it'd be a real hot chance to give a few of those others a shake in a Nature Strip like the Marzus and the Private Eyes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that was... I was definitely not left wanting. I did back in the Congo, and yeah, the same question came for me: is where does it head next? Okay, I'm going to get you guys at the end of the show now because you know we've had a little bit of a look at the markets. A lot of you guys have futures bets riding anyway. Give us who your black bookers are, and then I'm going to actually ask you lot for a tip for this weekend. We've got the two big races on Friday and Saturday. So let's start with your black bookers. Zammit, we'll start with you. Who goes into the black book for you out of last weekend?
Part 3 of a seriously fat day, let me say it again, was Valana in the Silver Eagle.
Correct. Sorry, that was... We haven't put many tips out on this show this season. You did mention Valana, and I know a few of the punters followed you in on that, and it was fantastic, mate. Well done.
Yeah, you guys tried to twist my arm in the show last week, just suggesting I should line up behind Hildo and take Mr. Mozart at the short $3.50 price. But I've been waiting a long time for Valana to come back. His trial was sensational, excellent form lines. I just thought everything shaped up particularly well there, and he won exceptionally well. So I think he'll be heading now to the Golden Eagle. He's one of the top 3 in the market there. It'll be a competitive race, but he's the horse to follow for me out of the meeting in particular. Look, a number of great performances across the board. A lot of these horses have either hit their grand final or just about to. So it's hard to sort of go, declaring horses as a black booker without sounding like a fool. So I'll pick him as one to follow with a target race there in a fortnight to come.
Yeah. You got a race on, Hildo?
Could you hear that?
Yeah, we've got the new mics. I hope everyone's appreciating the audio quality from Hildo this week.
We've just got one in at Bathurst. I was just trying to watch out of the corner of my eye.
Any good?
Oh, it's limited, but it might get the job done. A lot of the other horses in the race are also limited.
Oh, it could be the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
Anyone entering the black book for you from last weekend?
In the Congo, yeah.
Yeah.
But then now I want to follow him wherever he goes. I don't want him to go to the Golden Eagle. I don't think the setup is right. I also don't want him to go to the Golden Eagle because that's more than likely where Overpass will line up next. So I don't want to see that horse in there.
Yeah, well, I think I took a ticket out for the Nature Strip Stakes. I can't remember. I don't think I got a good price or anything like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that's where in the Congo heads. So this week, and first time since Zammit's been spitting out winners like nothing else, I thought we may as well get a few more tips throw it into the mix. That way, everyone has a few different kind of opinions in regards to the big races. So we have Friday night, the Manikato Stakes. They run that quite late, that race, don't they? Can't remember. It is a late one. And then for a lot of these guys who are going to back up the next day, very interesting. I don't think I have a lot. Let me just see if I've actually got any markets here. I don't. Is there someone you're liking, or early days, and no one can hold you to these ones? It's Tuesday of a long week. Who you liking in the Manikato Stakes, Zammit? You, son.
Parlay. He is a horse I've been with this prep. I was with him, albeit a bit nervous about the 1,000 metres, and that proved to be a problem for him first up at Moonee Valley. With him then second up with his great win in the Scalacci, and with him again in the Manikato. I think the 1,200 metres, step to 1,200 metres will be right up his alley. He's drawn to get a perfect trail. He should produce at the right time with the right ride and win that race. Bella Nipotina, hardest to beat, but Parlay on top for me.
And just roll straight into the Cox plate. Who you liking for the Cox?
Oh, look, I haven't. I have to concede, I haven't done the race properly as yet. I've been waiting for barriers, final field, and having a good look at that race. But I just struggle to get away from Animo, the favourite. I know there's been a bit of support since Breakfast with the Best and the track work of El Bodegon. And I'm sure he'll provide another layer to that race that's of interest to people. They generally will come into the internationals in a race like that. But I do think Animo, he's in very narrow second to State of Rest last year, has only been proven to be particularly strong, if you didn't think it was at the time, with that horse having won, I think, another 2 Group 1s from his next 3 starts after that race. Animo was only a 3-year-old that day, comes back a bigger, better version of himself in exceptional form. Just needs to get around that track well enough, and I'm sure he'll win the race.
El Bodegon. I'm glad that's how we're pronouncing it, because I'm going to have to pronounce it about another 200 times this week.
What do you want, El Bodegon, do you? Do you want a silent G or something? Or what?
I wasn't sure, so I'm just going to, if anyone, because I always get picked out for my pronunciation, at least I can say, no, that's what Matthew's done.
I was about to say sorry. I thought you were talking about Adrian Bott.
El Bodegon.
I don't know what you were talking about.
The Bodegon.
Right.
El Bodegon.
Actually, I have to say I'm pleased with the field for the Cox Plate. Like last year, we only had 7 or 8 runners, and I think it's a decent group of 12 really good horses, and it'll make it at least an interesting affair.
What we're running on the surface we have on Saturday, I think, is going to have a bit of a tell in how this race is run as well, to be honest.
There is a bit of rain around in Melbourne, so that could have a little bit of an impact on the race. And Zaki drawing 1 and the Blood drawing 12. That creates another sort of element to the race, which is going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, especially. And it's hard. The main question, I think, floating around is if Alligator can blood with you holding its tail, Luke.
Continue. Yeah, so I've been getting hold of it lately. I just missed it the first few times. I was distracted when we were at Coffs Harbour. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get past Paddy to get it.
Are you liking anything in the Friday night, the Manikato Stakes?
I'm going to do a Blake here and go no. I'll give you a tip for the weekend.
Give us one. Here we go.
Horse that I really like out of it's a bit of a biased tip because it's out of our own stable.
Well,
Jeez, that horse.
That's all we're hoping for.
Wow, that horse went terrible.
Oh, don't tell us that one.
Jeez, not that one.
Don't tell us about that one.
Jesus, wow.
See, it's not all spruik coming out of the Bjorn Baker stable.
No, exactly it. Renaissance Woman. I think this horse she's a serious stayer. She was awesome on the weekend.
Yeah.
She backs up on the weekend against the boys. She'll get a weight relief off them. Goes on any kind of track. We are going to get a pretty testing 2,000 metre track, I reckon, on the weekend. Ramick had 40 mils yesterday morning, which was unbelievable. And you've got a lot of these horses that are going to be disadvantaged coming out of the gloaming, 1,600 to 2,000 now. She's probably going to be the only horse that's been 2,000 metres. The gloaming was always 18, but they went back to Warwick Farm. They're back down to 1,600. So I think she's going to get a chance to maybe catch them on the hop on her way to the VRC Oaks, and I think she's a huge chance. She's actually the favourite now for the VRC Oaks, but she's a progressive horse that's got a lot to come this preparation and next.
Didn't add many on the weekend, but I did find Renaissance Women. Well, I didn't find out. Melbourne Alice did, so I was very happy to find that. So what race is she racing in this weekend?
She's going to run the Group 1 Spring Champion Stakes against the boys.
Spring Champion Stakes.
A couple of fillies have won that race, Luke. There's Montefilia won it, and who was that All-American filly that Yankee Rose that David Van Dyke had? I think they're two fillies who have won that Spring Champion in the past.
Yeah, so we've got a good record in it, obviously, and it doesn't look like the strongest, especially with probably missing the two favourites in the race, which was likely Osipenko and what's the name, Mile of the Godolphin horse, are likely not to be there. So takes a lot out of the race.
Elliptical probably your hardest to beat, you'd think. I'd say.
Looks like
out of the Caulfield Guineas. Hey, Woodhead, if just in case people want to have a crack for tipping Animo on the Saturday, how about I give out one at a little better price in the Tessio, currently all in odds of I think about $4. Cirilio Miss. If you want something around that time, she'll be the last race of the day. It's one of those really tough races to have a bet in on a Cox Plate day. It's the field leg and the quaddie for most people. Yeah. I do think you want a horse that can handle a bit of juice in the track, and ideally something on speed. And she will tick both of those boxes. Cirilio Miss in the Tessio, which should be, I imagine, the last race of the day.
I don't think you guys are going to understand how much the punters will love you sharing a little bit more insight with that. It's very good that we've got you guys to pull the races apart, but a lot of people listen to these shows for, a little bit of a leg up, interestingly enough. So if they listen to the end of the show, I suppose they get a little clip.
That's it.
Hopefully. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your insight. And I tell you what, you are both looking... keep the couples dressing up. I like it. I was going to wear a blue hat. Why didn't anyone tell me?
No, Zammit's got a black hat on, but we've gone dark shirts, leg up hats. That's our look.
Hildo's colourblind. Don't let him fly a plane. This is not a black hat.
We don't have... That's blue.
Is that blue?
That's navy blue.
What colour's mine, Luke?
Oh, that's probably your shit Maltese camera. I can't tell the colour.
I don't know if this stuff's racist or not.
He's nasty, isn't he? He's nasty.
I don't know. But look, it was really good to have you both here, and for the first time in 5 episodes, it was great to hear you, Luke. Absolutely great to hear you.
And at normal ranges.
Don't be surprised if your numbers go down, mate. Don't be
well, they can see you this week too, Zammit, so you're not out of the shit either.
No, touche, mate, touche.
Very good, boys. Have a great week, and good luck this weekend, punters.
Cheers,
Thanks,
lads.
boys. See ya.
Bye.